Hey, it's good to be back after a week of work travel and then, just catching up on things around the house. I'm excited to kind of get back into the normal rhythm of putting some videos out that help you guys as worship leaders and team members. And today I just want to talk about how do we handle mistakes? And, mistakes are something that are never going to go away. So this video is hopefully going to give you some insight into how I handle things and also maybe just some best practices around how to best treat and always handle those mistakes with grace. But I want to start, I want to tell a story about probably, at least for our worship team, one of the most notorious mistakes, probably 9 or 10 years ago now. We were just finishing up a worship service, and it was one of the services we did probably 7 or 8 songs, and we had opened with an elevation song, and I can't remember the exact one it is. My drummer buddy, I can guarantee you he could tell you both songs, but uh, we had just got to the end and we opened with this killer song, and I wanted to close with it because it just went over so well. And so we get rolling, and like 2 seconds into the song, I'm like, the drummer is playing the drum intro to the wrong song. And it was one of those where I think Elevation had two intros that were kind of similar, and he just happened to pick the wrong one for the different song. And so I just simply had to be like, hey, hold on, I turned and look and just said, bro, that's the wrong song. And we all laughed as a team, and he was mortified, and the congregation laughed, and we still laugh about it to this day. But kind of thinking back to that moment, for us as leaders, when we're really responsible for steering that moment in every way possible, is be calm. There's rarely a reason to ever get upset and to come down on your your worship team members. It's always important to remember that 9 out of 10 times these people are volunteers, and they want nothing more than to do their best to glorify their King and Savior. So just remember that, keep that in the front of your mind, and through that lens, it really helps temper responses as worship leaders. Um, and even to kind of bounce off of that, other than a very public mistake like that, a lot of times, when we're working through mistakes, or if we miss a note, or if we miss a cue, or if we get off the click, or if we're ahead of the track, or whatever we're playing with, a lot of times the only people that really notice that are the ones that are on the platform. Maybe your sound guy, maybe your video people. Most people in the congregation, as long as you handle it in a way where you're smiling, you're acting like nothing's going on, because again, this comes back to stuff I've talked to before about removing any opportunity for distractions in worship. And a lot of that comes to in those moments where something isn't working right or something's wrong, you proceed on like nothing's happening, because that does alleviate any anxiety or kind of stress in the moment, and just keeps people focused. Where what chances are they don't even notice what's going on. But it's critical for us as leaders, again, always stay calm. If you've got tech that breaks, have a backup plan, have spare cables, have spare mics. That's the kind of things that brings peace of mind to your team and your tech team, to know that, like, oh, hey, if something happens, or if we're down a mic, or if we're down a cable, no worries, we can replace it and we'll be back up and rolling, no problem. Another thought, what about mistakes in rehearsal? Rehearsal is one of my favorite times when you really just get to hash things out, run through stuff, go through it more than once, 2, 3 times sometimes. We just introduced a song called The Blood, Bethel's arrangement off of their newest album, and I think we ran through it 2 or 3 times this past Sunday. But we just wanted to make sure that we were hitting all of those transitions and that we were tight together, because there's some great runs on the bass. There's just there's just some great layers in that song that we wanted to make sure that we were tight on. But in mistakes like that, as leaders, it's our responsibility to be the most prepared person on that stage. And as much as within your musical ability, know everybody's parts, and at the very least, know the dynamics of the song so that you can guide people, like, hey, let's drop the bass out here, or hey, let's make sure the pad is up in this moment. Those are the kinds of things to hash out in rehearsal. And, if you've got people making consistent mistakes, encourage them to just spend some more time preparing outside of rehearsal. And, that's easier said than done. I know a lot of volunteers are family people that they've got, multiple kids in sports. They're pulled in all different directions, and practice might be 20 minutes Saturday night before Sunday. And which we understand. We have to be understanding of that, especially with volunteers. But, consistent mistakes, if it's in the same spot, just take some time during rehearsal, iron it out, because all that does is it brings confidence. It removes any kind of awkward tension about, oh, well, we missed this spot again and again and again. No, those are the kinds of things that I try to keep in mind during rehearsals, that we are, hitting those transitions, that there's not a consistent spot where, like we're missing a specific note or, dynamic change, whatever the case. But, always be encouraging and do that with grace. And again, there's rarely ever a moment where you have to drop the hammer as the worship leader. I can think of maybe 2 or 3 instances in 15 years where I have felt like, and something needed to happen like that. And those are so rare that, that really has to be something that just speaks to the quality of people that are on your team, but also, just reminding yourselves Proverbs that, a soft word or soft response turns away anger. Those are the kind of moments where, again, stay calm, keep a cool head. And, I think that those are the kinds of things that, as leaders, it just elevates you in how effective you are as a leader and how much your team trusts you, is that when you treat them with respect and with grace. And again, all that to say, mistakes, they're still going to happen. I make mistakes every week. My goodness. My brain will default, like if we're playing in G and I hit the D chord, sometimes my muscle memory kicks in and I just start playing D shapes and I go to B minor and it doesn't sound great. Those are the kinds of things, though. It happens to everybody. And at the end of the day, remember this, that if our hearts are prepared, if they're really turned toward God, and they're turned toward Jesus, they're turned toward our Savior, and we have prepared to the best of our ability, that God will honor that. And, I think that that's important, that, perfection can be it's this weird balance of always trying to be better and improving, which is good. But this weird striving for perfection and getting bent out of shape when things aren't, A++, that's not a healthy place to be. So I just wanted to encourage you on that today. Handle your mistakes with grace. Always, be soft and encouraging towards your team members. And in those rare occasions when you need to be firm, but be fair. I hope this helps. God bless.